began with a post so casual it almost felt like a prank. A backstage snapshot of a dressing room sign stamped with the words, "Back to the beginning, final show." Hours later, the world learned that Ozzy Osbourne, the metal icon who once seemed indestructible, had slipped quietly out of this realm at 76. The timing looked uncanny, but if you follow the breadcrumbs he left, that coincidence vanishes. What emerges instead is a meticulous final act, part love letter, part exit strategy, written and directed by Ozzy himself. For almost 20 years, Parkinson's disease stalked him, stealing balance, twisting speech, crushing any sense of normalcy. Spinal surgeries piled up. Doctors warned he might never stand unaided again. Yet, through the fog of pain, he circled a single date on the calendar, 5th of July, 2025. That day, he would return to Villa Park in Birmingham, footsteps from the working-class streets where Black Sabbath was born, and command a stage one last time. 45,000 fans packed the stadium, 5.8 million more tuned in online, and metal royalty lined up just to warm the crowd. EW.com, New York Post, why push a body held together by screws and sheer will? Because Ozzy was after something bigger than applause. He was quilting together the final chapter of a lifelong legend, knowing he might not control how death arrived, but refusing to let anyone else frame the story. But that wasn't the whole story. When the lights exploded, every eye fixed on a black leather throne planted center stage. Doctors had warned him, walk too far and you risk a catastrophic fall. So Ozzy turned immobility into spectacle. Propped on that gothic seat, he belted War Pigs, NIB, Iron Man, and Paranoid, with a voice that, impossibly, still sliced through the arena like grinding steel. Reviewers called it supernatural. Insiders knew it was the product of months of quiet vocal conditioning in his home studio, sessions so draining he'd reportedly sleep 14 hours afterwards just to recover. EW.com. Each song landed like a closing argument in his own defense. I may be broken, but I'm not beaten. The crowd roared, but Ozzy's eyes stayed locked on wife Sharon at side stage, making sure she saw the promise fulfilled. And what happened next would shock everyone. Instead of banking tour profits, Ozzy signed over every pound. An estimated $190 million in ticket and live stream revenue now flows to Cure Parkinson's, Birmingham Children's Hospital, and Acorn Children's Hospice. Fox News cynics wondered if it was a publicity stunt. Friends say it was penance. Throughout the 2010s, he'd confessed guilt over past excesses. Money burned, opportunities wasted. By funneling his final payday into causes that mirrored both his hometown roots and his illness, he settled financial and moral accounts in one sweep. At Encore's end, he blessed the crowd, whispered, "Thank you, that's good night," and let the house lights swallow him. 17 days later, that good night became permanent. On 22nd July 2025, the morning he died, Ozzy pushed a single Instagram post, the Villa Park dressing room sign, nothing more. Within minutes, comments flooded in. Is this a tease? Announcing a live album? No one imagined it was a digital will, a time-stamped evidence that he exited on his terms. Analysts later noticed his final on-camera interview used past tense language. I felt lucky to be alive. Linguists call that a temporal slip. Fans now see it as deliberate foreshadowing. Sky News. Minutes after the encore, Slipknot's Sid Wilson dropped to one knee and proposed to Kelly Osbourne in the same hallway where her father's photo would later go viral. The engagement wasn't random. Friends say Ozzy personally plotted the timing, insisting his daughter's next chapter begin while he could still witness it. The video shows him beaming like a mischievous elf, clutching Sharon's hand as confetti cannons misfired in the corridor. YouTube 9 News. Such micro-moments repeated for weeks. Private dinners with each of his 6 children, grandkids whisked to a countryside estate for storytelling marathons, late-night phone calls to estranged bandmates patched in by Sharon. He wasn't just reminiscing. He was performing a living will, distributing emotional heirlooms face-to-face. The internet, naturally, erupted. Conspiracy threads claimed Ozzy stopped medication to accelerate the end, or that the Villa Park show was scheduled around a clandestine prognosis predicting no more than 20 days. No physician has confirmed those whispers. Sharon calls them fiction fans can keep. Yet the speculation thrives because every puzzle piece fits too neatly. Farewell concert, massive charity dump, ghostly Instagram, rapid demise. Fans can't decide if that neatness is evidence of fate or evidence of design. Strip away the smoke machines and you find a blueprint for leaving this world on your own narrative arc. Ozzy's final act reasserts 3 lessons. Control the narrative before it controls you. By branding his farewell back to the beginning, he framed death not as defeat, but as closing symmetry. Turned goodbye into a gift. Redirecting millions to children's hospitals transformed personal tragedy into communal benefit. Stage-managed memory. From Kelly's engagement to the timed social post, every tableau delivered an image that will outlive tabloid rumors. Because of those steps, tributes that poured in from Metallica to Elton John shared a curious similarity. None sounded shocked. They sounded prepared, almost as if they'd rehearsed. Fox News. That readiness can only come from a head start Ozzy secretly gave them. So the Prince of Darkness proved, one last time, that true showmanship isn't about pyrotechnics or bat stories, it's about authorship. Anyone can die. Very few can turn the moment into art. In choosing his stage, his charity, his timing, even his daughter's engagement backdrop, Ozzy Osbourne delivered the encore audiences never knew they needed. Proof that a lifetime of chaos can end in flawless order. Now the question is ours to wrestle with. Did Ozzy redefine what a rock star goodbye can be? Or did he blur the line between entertainment and afterlife beyond recognition? Drop your thoughts below, because somewhere, if legend holds, the Prince is reading the comments and grinning that wicked, satisfied grin.